Hello everyone, this is Ahmed GHL Boy. Today's episode is going to be very special because we are going to create a calculator, a BMR calculator to be more specific, inside GoHighLevel. How does that sound to you? It sounds really exciting to me because the good part is we are not going to use a single piece of code, neither CSS nor JavaScript. We will be using all the default features of GoHighLevel. So without wasting time, let's see how we can create a BMR calculator inside GoHighLevel.
The GoHighLevel boy, Ahmed.
Ahmed at the GHL
The
boy.
GHL boy, Ahmad.
Rashid.
Thank you, Ahmed, and thank you to the rest of your team.
Okay, first of all, let me show you how it's going to look like in the end once we have completely created the calculator. This is how it's going to look like. You can play around with the colors and branding, but functionally, this is how it's going to look like. So let's just fill out this form. So and the height should be in centimeter. Let's see 150 centimeter, and then weight in kg. Let's do 75, and then age in years. Let's say 30, and then if we do the gender as female, and then the activity level, let's select this one, and then for the goal, let's do maintain. Boom! Look at this. How cool this is going to be, and we are calculating these all the calculations based on an equation. So I'm going to show you that equation as well. Let's see if we change anything. Let's say if we want to lose, there is a different target calories that has to be. And if we do gain, the target calories is different. So that's how it's going to look like in the end. Now I'm going to drive you through the whole process, how we have created this and what equation we have used to create this. For that, first of all, let me show you the equation. This is the equation that we are going to use, which is the Mifflin-St Jeor Formula, and which explains for the females, it's going to be 10 multiplied by weight in kgs plus 6.25 multiplied by height in centimeter minus 5 multiplied by age in years and then minus 161. And then for the males, it's pretty much the same. The only difference is instead of minus 165, we are going to do plus 5. And then once we get this calculation, then we have to multiply this calculation with the scale factor for the activity level, which is if the activity level is sedentary, we are going to multiply it by 1.2 and then 1.375 or 1.5 or 1.725 or 1.9 based on their activity level, which is going to provide us with the final BMR. And then if we do the 30% of BMR divided by 4, then it's going to provide us with the protein. And then for the carbohydrate, it's 45% of BMR divided by 4. Then for the fats, it's 25% of BMR divided by 9. And then for the TDE, it's going to be BMR multiply their activity level scale factor. And then the target calories depends on the goal. If they want to maintain, then the target calories will be equal to TDE. If the goal is lose, then the target calories is equals to TDE minus 300. And if the goal is gain, the target calories is going to be TDE plus 300. So if you see in this example, if we want to maintain, then the TDE is going to be the target calories. So if you see, these calculations are equal. But if we want to lose, then the target calories are going to be TDE minus 300, which is perfectly calculated. So that's, I'm gonna drop this equation for the calculation, the Mifflin-St Jeor formula in the description, so you can get it from there. Now, let's see how we have built this. To build this, we have built this inside the form. I have actually already built in, but I'm gonna show you how I build this. So for that, we will navigate to forms. And then here we have a BMR calculator. So let's just open it up. I'm going to change some of the settings so that it's easier for you to understand how I build this. So what I'm going to do is a couple of the things. I'm going to show label because I have hide the label, but I had to show the label so that I can clearly explain how I build this. And then I think instead of line, let me just make it box so it looks more cleaner. I'm gonna save it. Okay, so that's how we're gonna start. So on the first, we just need first name, last name, phone, and email that you can just add it from here, quick add, first name, last name, email, and phone. And then we need to build these custom fields. So this height, weight, age, these three has to be the number field type. What does that mean? You will go to custom fields, add, and then here you have to select number, then hit next, then just hit like type here height in like centimeter and just add. Once you have created that, then it will show up right here, and then you would be able to drag them here. So you have to do the same this weight kg. Just remember that it has to be number type field as well. And then for the age, and then for the gender, you can either create a radio or a single drop down. What does that mean is here you can use either radio select or you can use drop down single to create this field. I have used radio. So, and then for the activity level, again, you can use radio or you can use single drop down. So what does you do is you go to custom fields, add drop down single, go here just type activity level and then put them under a group. And then here you can just type all of your activity level option like sedentary, lightly active, moderately active, active, or very active. In our equation, we have like five, I guess, activity levels. Yep. So you will have to create all those five options. So once you do that, then you can just drag that field right here. And for the goal, we have three type of goals: maintain, lose, and gain. So again, it's going to be drop down single. So once you have created that, now here our calculator actually starts. And here is the disclaimer: don't try this at home, office, or anywhere without watching this video, otherwise you will get lost. Okay, so but never mind, I know that was a bad joke, so let's just focus on our today's feature. Okay, so what I have done is first I have, okay, and the one more thing is that I have created this whole calculator to be only functional for the female. But using the same process, each step, you can create this for the male as well, which you will have to, because right now it's only functional for female. You will have to create all the whole process for the male as well. So we are only going to create this calculator, which is functional only for female, but you will have to do this for male as well. Okay, what I did is I created a field which I labeled as female BMR part 1. And the part 1 means we have to calculate this part first, and then we have to multiply this with the scale factor of their activity level to actually get our final BMR. So I named this calculation as BMR part 1. Then we will be multiplying this with the scale factor for activity level to get our final BMR. So this calculation is BMR part 1 in our use case. And how I created this, you have to pick, go to quick add, and you have to use this score field. Once you drag it right here, then you can just click on it, change the name as female BMR part 1. And then here under the calculations, because we have to apply a formula here, so that's why we need to use the score field. So once we go to calculation, let's see what's the formula first. For the female, it's 10 multiplied by weight plus 6.25 multiplied height minus 5 multiplied by age minus 161. So when we go to calculations, here I have done this bracket, which is right here. And then here all the math operations. And then here is the point. So what I have done is bracket 10 multiplied by weight, which you can add right from here. And then bracket close, then plus, again bracket 6.25 multiply, then again add field from here, height, and then bracket close, then minus bracket 5 multiply by age in years, and then again bracket, then minus 161. So that's how it's going to be calculated. And then, so that's how we are going to get the female BMR part 1. And then here, if you see, I have make it hidden because this is not exactly what we are going to show as a result. As a result, we are actually going to show the final BMR, which is going to be this multiplied by the scale factor. So that's why I have made this hidden. And all of the rest of the fields are also hidden because we are actually showing them based on the conditions. So let me just pause the video and I'm going to unhide all of these fields. And I have here set up some conditional logics as well. So I will be removing these conditional logics so that I can re-add them, just showing you as well how why we need to add these conditions. So let me just pause the video and delete all of this and come back in a second. Here we are. I have unhide all of the fields other than this because this is we don't need to show them. And this is where you make it hidden or unhide. And then if we take a look at conditional logics, we don't have any conditional logic set up at the moment. Okay, so once we have calculated the BMR part 1, then the next step is to calculate the BMR, like the final BMR based on their activity level. And now if we take a look at the equation, which tells us it has to be multiplied with 1.2 if the activity level is this, and it has to be multiplied with 1.375 if the activity level is this. So now what we are going to do is we will be having 5 final BMR based on their activity level. So we will have female BMR sedentary. Then we will have female BMR lightly active. Then we will have female BMR moderately active. And for that, again, we have to use the score fields. Moving forward, all of the fields will be score fields. So you just have to drag it here. And then once you do, here, this is just a text field, which is right here. So you can just drag it and name it as BMR because inside this, we will be having all the BMRs. Okay, so the first one is female BMR sedentary. And if you look at the formula, that's going to be the part 1, which is right here, multiply by 1.2. And that will give us the BMR for this activity level. So it has to be multiplied 1.2. So part 1 multiply 1.2. So what we did is we created a field that says female BMR for this activity level. And if you take a look at the calculation, that is female BMR part 1 that you can grab it from here, which is this one. So it has to be multiplied by 1.2 to get this BMR. And then for this lightly active, it has to be multiplied with 1.37, then 1.5, then 1.7. So if you see female BMR lightly active, it has to be multiplied by 1.37 female BMR part 1. Then it has to be multiplied with 1.55. And this one has to be multiplied by 1.725. And then this one very active has to be multiplied with 1.9. So in this way, we will get all our 5 because we have 5 activity levels. So we will have 5 BMR based on the part 1 and their activity level. So that's how BMR is going to be calculated. And then if you see the next is protein. If you take a look at the protein, that's going to be 30% of BMR because now that we have 5 BMR, so we will have 5 protein calculations as well and divided by 4. So here, what we do is, if it has to be sedentary, then what we will do is we will take this one, BMR sedentary, and divide it by 4. And again, this is just a score field. You just drag it here, label it as this, and then when you go to calculation, if you see the bracket, female BMR sedentary multiply by 0.3. 0.3, that means 30%. Because here we don't have the percentage icon or the operation. So that's why I just use 0.3. So 0.3 means 30% of this divided by 4, which is going to give us the female protein for this activity level. And same for this one, it has to be multiplied by 0.3, which is 30% of this divided by 4. So all the proteins will be 30%, but for their respective activity status. So in this way, we will get our 5 proteins for the female. And then the same way we will be creating the carbohydrates. The only difference is the formula. And for the carbohydrate, it's going to be 45% of BMR. So again, we have 5 types of BMR based on their activity levels. So we will have 5 carbohydrates. All of them are going to be 45% divided by 4. So if you see this carbohydrates for this activity level, this is going to be BMR of this activity level multiply 0.45, which is again 45% divided by 4. Same thing for this one. Female lightly active, multiply 0.45 divided by 4. And then again, this one multiply 0.45 divided by 4. The same thing we did for this, divided by 4. And then here, again, under the calculation, it's female BMR very active. The only important thing is that if it is very active, like here, that is very active, you have to multiply it with very active. And if it is moderately active, then you have to multiply it with moderately active BMR. So in this way, we will get our 5 carbohydrates. And then the next, fats, the same thing. The fats is going to be 25% of BMR. Again, in this case, we have different 5 BMR, so we will get 5 different fats, but it's going to be 25%. This time we will multiply it with 0.25 and then divide it by 9. So let's see real quick for the fats. If we go to calculation, female BMR for this activity level, multiply 0.25, which is 25%, divided by 9. And the same thing here, multiply 0.25 divided by 9, but this time it's lightly active because we are getting the fats for lightly active activity level. And then for this one, it's same. The only thing that has changed is this field. Multiply 0.25 and divided by 9. So, and let me actually perform this one so that you know how we are going to do this. Okay, so that has to be female BMR moderately active and 0.25 divided by 9. So that's how you do this. You do this, and then this is we are going to create for moderately active. So we need a female BMR moderately active, this one, multiply by how much the fats are going to be. The fats are 25%, so we will multiply it with 0.25 bracket close, and then we have to divide it by, I think, 9. So we will divide it by 9. So that's how you create this formula. Let me just reload it just to make sure that I didn't miscalculate anything. So we are done with the fats. Now the next is TDE, which is going to be BMR multiply activity level. So in our case, we have 5 types of BMR. So we will get 5 different types of TDE, which are going to be, we scroll down, here we have the TDE. So sedentary is going to be multiplied by their activity level, because the formula says BMR multiplied by activity level. So for the sedentary, it's going to be 1.2 and then the BMR of that activity level. The same thing here, but the scale factor is going to be changed because that's for different activity level. So the next one is female BMR moderately active multiplied by 1.5. These are all the scale factors based on their activity level. So that's how we get the TDE. And now the next is target calories. And target calories depends on their goal. If their goal is maintain or lose or gain. So for example, if the goal is maintain, we will have target calories is equal to TDE. Because we have 5 different type of TDEs, so for the maintain, we will have 5 different target calories. And for the lose, we will have 5 different. And for the gain, we will have 5. So like we will have total 15 target calories. And if we take a look right here, the target calories, because now the goal is involved. So what we are going to calculate is target calories for this activity level, because we have a specific TDE for this activity level, and then the goal is maintained. Then at the second activity level, the goal is maintained. The third activity level, the goal is maintained. The fourth activity level, the goal is maintained. And then the fifth activity level, the goal is maintained. Now again 5, but for the lows 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then again 5 for gain. And the calculation is going to be, if we click on this, the target calories has to be, if for the maintain, the target calories has to be is equal to TDE. So that's very simple. We go here, this has to be T is equals to TDE for this activity level. And then for this one has to be equals to this. So all maintain has to be equals to TDE. For the lose, it's going to be TDE minus 300. So in this case, if we do this, that's going to be TDE sedentary minus 300. So it's female TDE sedentary minus 300. Again, this one is going to be lightly active TDE minus 300. So TDE lightly active minus 300. So all the lows will be minus 300. If we say this, it's going to be TDE active lows minus 300. TDE active minus 300. And then for the gain, it's going to be plus 300, I guess. There it is. So the same thing we are going to do for the gain, sedentary. If we go to calculation, that's going to be sedentary TDE plus 300. So in all these, we will calculate in this pattern. So that's how we have calculated all the parameters that we want to calculate. Again, we have only done this for female. Now, following from here, we will have to recreate all of these fields, but this time we will be doing it for male person. Right now, it's just for female. So you have to just follow the same procedure for the male. Now, let's just save and see how it's going to look like. So I'm going to take a preview. And now you see it's already showing up because that's where the conditional logics are going to be involved. But if you see, if I just type the height, let's say 150 centimeter, the weight is going to be 70 kg, the age is 30 years, and the gender is female because we have only configured this for female. The activity level is this, and the goal is maintain. It still shows you the calculation. The problem is it's showing you all the calculations. But that's not what we want, right? Like in this case, we only want to show the sedentary and maintain. Like we only want to see this one. We don't want to see this one, this one, this one, and this one. So for the BMR, we only want to see this. For the protein, we only want to see this because they have selected sedentary activity level. And then for the calories, we only want to see sedentary maintain. If we look into the calories, it will show us all of them. But if we only want to see this one, sedentary maintain. So this is where the conditional logics are going to be involved. And I'm going to create one condition, and then you can just follow the same pattern to create rest of the condition. So what our condition is, if someone has selected female, because once you have created the male, all those will be showing up here as well. So we have to apply a condition. If the customer has selected female and the activity level is sedentary and the goal is maintain, then only show them their corresponding parameters. And this is how we're going to do this. We have to go to conditions, and then here I would like to hide all of them so that based on the condition, we will show the respective, the custom fields that we want to show. So we'll have to hide all of them like this. Let me just pause the video and hide all of them, and I will get back in a moment. Here I am. Let me also show you how you actually make them hidden. So this is where you make these fields hidden because we will be using conditional logics to show them based on their selection. So here we go. And that's left. There we go. We have make hidden all of these fields. I think some of them are missing. Okay, I think I missed this portion. This one as well. Oh, I missed a lot of them, I guess. Anyhow, that's how you make them hidden. Okay, I think that's not being saved when I was making them hidden. Okay, I actually made them hidden. So, okay, we are good. Just double checking. It is. And then this one. And then this one. Oh, so the settings were not being saved when I was hiding them. Okay. Oh, so nothing was saved actually. Then I missed this one. Okay, hidden, 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 and then hidden. Oh. Okay, there we go, finally. Now we are going to save this. And if we just refresh this page, and if we do 150 centimeter height, and then the weight is 70 kg, the age is 30 years, and that's female, the activity level is this, goal is maintain, cool. So nothing is showing because we have make all the fields hidden. Now we will use conditional logics to show them based on their selection. Okay, so what we are going to do here, go to conditional logics, show height fields. So initially, what I'm going to do is you can actually make this one as well. So the first name has to be filled so that they cannot see the results without filling this information. So the last name is fills, and then email is filled, and then phone is filled. Actually, what I would suggest here, because they can calculate without submitting this information. So I would recommend you to create the form with this opt-in information with first name, last name, phone, and email. Once they submit that form, then you can redirect them to this calculator, because in that case, you will have your you will have the customer's information, so that you can you can add them to your campaign or you can follow with them. So ultimately, I will be just deleting this first name, last name, phone, and email from this form. So I'm going to just explore this just to make our conditions more cleaner. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is height has to be filled. Otherwise, it's going to show the results without filling the height. And then weight is filled, and age is filled, because our results doesn't based on any of these calculation. But the next is on which our conditions based. So the gender is equals to female, and activity level is equals to sedentary, and let me see. Yep. Okay. For the goal, we will create a separate condition, and I will tell you like why we need a separate condition for that. But I think this is enough. So if somebody has select gender as female and then activity level as sedentary, then what we want to show them, we want to show multiple. And in this case, this is going to be female sedentary. Okay. So we are not going to show them part one. We are actually going to show them final female BMR sedentary. So female sedentary BMR, and then the protein, female protein sedentary, and then female carbohydrate sedentary, and then female fats sedentary, and then female TDEE sedentary, and then for the target calories, because target calories are going to be based on the goal, so that's why we'll create a separate condition. But that's how it's going to be the one first condition, which means these three has to be filled out: weight, age, and uh, uh, yeah, height, weight, and age has to be filled, and then the gender has to be female, and then activity level is sedentary. Then in that case, we will only show them BMR sedentary, protein sedentary, carbohydrate sedentary, fat sedentary, and then TDE. Let's save this, and now we will create another condition specifically for the target calories. In this, again, what we are going to do is height is filled, and weight is filled, and age is filled, and gender is female, and activity level is sedentary, and goal is equals to maintain, then show. In this case, we are only going to show them one condition, which would be we are only going to show them one, which is target calories, but for maintain. So target calories, sedentary, maintain, because maintain and sedentary. So target calories, sedentary, maintain. So this is our condition for target calories, and the top one is the condition for rest of the fields. So now we have only configured these conditions for female, sedentary, activity level, and for the goal for the maintain. So let's just save this. So you will have to create all the conditions for different scenarios. Right now we have only done for one activity level, then you will have to repeat this condition for second activity level, for third, for fourth, and then for fifth. And then you will have to do the same for the goal. But right now, if we test it, and now if you see, unless we fill out height, which is going to be this, nothing is going to show up because inside our condition, we have to select all of them. So this has to be filled out, and then it has to be female. And then once the activity level is sedentary, even if you see this, they have shown as stuff like, if you see here, they on the top, female BMR sedentary looks good. But for the protein, that says female protein sedentary, female carbohydrate sedentary, fat sedentary, TDE sedentary. But they have not provided us with the target calories. We have not selected the goal here. So let's just fix this as well, because unless the goal is selected, we don't want to show them, correct? So let's just do this. If we go to our conditions, and if we go here, our first condition, we will just add another condition that's going to say, and the goal is filled. Like whatever it is, it doesn't matter right here, because what is the goal? We have that condition right here. So now if we save it, and go here, just refresh. Now it's not going to show unless we fill all of these fields. And female, activity level sedentary, it's not going to show us anything unless we select the goal, and we have only created the condition for this case. So look at this. Now it's going to show us female BMR sedentary because we have selected sedentary. Protein sedentary, carbohydrate sedentary, fat sedentary, TDE sedentary, and then target calories has to be sedentary and maintain, which is right here, sedentary and maintain. And you see the calculation looks good. Now you will be wondering, like, we don't even want to show this, right? Because we don't want to tell them that we are only showing you the sedentary one. So to avoid this, what we can do is just go to, and also if you see in my perspective, this border doesn't look good here, but they are not able to change it anything like here. If you see this, that's 96.43. They are not able to change it because that's our final results. So what I would recommend you to do is go to options of the form, and here where it says show label, just hide them. So the labels are not being shown, and just make sure you put them into the placeholder. That's one thing. And then here, input style, let's make it line, which looks more good. Now, when we save this, and if we just reload this, so now if we do the height, 1 centimeter, weight is 70 kg, age is 30, that's female, activity level is sedentary, because we have actually not applied the condition for any of others, so it's not going to show unless we select sedentary. And here if we select loose, they're going to provide us this, but the calories is not going to provide because we have not selected the condition. So if we do the maintain, that's how it's going to look like BMR, and now the label is gone, but actually this BMR is for this category. So this is the BMR in kilocalories, then this protein in grams, then carbohydrates in grams, then fats in grams, then TD in kilocalories, and then finally the target calories in kilocalories. So, but now you can play around with the styling and colorization, and just note that you will have to contain all of the conditions following the same pattern. This we have only done for female activity level sedentary. So we are only showing them these fields. And then for the target calories, we are only configure this condition for female sedentary and maintain. So we'll have to create female sedentary lose, female sedentary gain, then female the next activity level, which would be I think lightly active. So female lightly active maintain, female lightly active gain, female lightly active lose. So in this way you will have to create multiple conditions, and once you are done, then you will have to create all of this scenario for the male. I know, this sounds like kind of very complicated, but once that's configured, then it's gonna look like magic to you. Remember when I showed you in the beginning of the video, that was looking like a magic because I have configured all the conditions that I removed later on in the video. So that's how you can create any kind of calculator inside GoHighLevel. So if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do subscribe and press the bell icon so that you can get all the updates from me. We'll see you in the next video. Thank you.
The Go High Level boy, Ahmed.
Ahmed at the GHL boy.
GHL boy, Ahmed.
Thank you, Ahmed, and thank you to the rest of your team.